yeah. Beyond the vow, where the truth gets real. Faith and love, yeah, that's the deal. WC and Maria, bringing that glow. Tuesday nights is the show you gotta know.
Love ain't a moment, it's a movement we found. Beyond the vows, where the real talk sounds. From single to married, decades deep. Together we rise, where the promise is key.
Lessons and laughter, faith in the mix. Every story a bond, every challenge a fix.
SKST,
Tune in, don't be late.
7 p.m.
Fan trip,
Let's elevate. So come vibe with us.
We're on. We're here. Hey, we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on where you are in this wonderful, wonderful world of ours. Again, we are W.C. Brown and Maria Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And why you didn't sit closer to me?
You need to move your chair over here.
See, you know what? You always, Kevin told her, she said don't move a whole lot. So,
Well, you do it anyway. So
I'm sorry.
It's not gonna matter.
Listen, welcome to Beyond the Vows. Again, I'm your host, W.C. Brown, with my wonderful, not co-host, but we the hostess with the mostest. No, hostess is female, right? So I'm the host with the most, she's the hostess with the mostest. Something like that, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, we come to you every Tuesday night here at the SKST TV podcast studios here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we have no curfew in here. You know, they just lifted the curfew out there at the beach. You know, people are really upset and stuff like that. Okay. But so much news is going on, you know, about the press, the dinner in Washington, you know. And somebody was in there shooting, something carrying on, you know. There's so much going on. But listen, to our sponsor, deafchild.org, deafchildhope.org, which is our sponsor. And deafchildhope.org is a wonderful organization. We've been talking about it for the last 2 seasons, that you can sponsor a child in another country that is not only in poverty, but is also deaf. Many of these children have never had a conversation with anybody. So your dollars will really help them. So go to deafchildhope.org. And we got another sponsor, which is MW Superpatch. No, MW Brown.superpatch.com. It's mwbrown.superpatch.com. That's our personal sponsor. There are these super patches that have just been doing wonders for people. I mean, it's just, you have to go to our site and look it up. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. Superpatch.com. Check it out. I'm saying it's changing lives. It changed ours. You know, y'all remember I had the hip surgery, and after getting patched, you know, I was walking. The next morning, I was riding my bicycle. So anyway, listen. Anything good going on with you, honey bun? Huh?
Right here.
What?
Sorry.
What's going on with you? Who is?
Will.
What did it say? I have no idea who that is. Melanie. I don't know. Anyway, so what's going on good with you, baby?
Everything's good. Everything's good.
How's work?
Everything's wonderful.
Everything's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I like that hair thing you got on. You know, it's slayed to the side. As you put all that stuff, you know, you put all that stuff on it and get it laid. Yeah, And that baby hair, that ain't baby hair. I just, I don't know. Anyway, listen, we have an exciting guest on tonight. I understand. I got chills because she is one of the, and I don't say this very lightly. She is one of the greatest women that I know. I've known her since I probably a teenager, and it is she. She's supposed to be on this, but let's see. I'm hope we're gonna bring her back on. Let me see. I'm gonna send her a message to make sure she gets back on.
Tell her to log out and log back in.
Yeah, I'll tell her to log on and log back in. Mother, we've got Mother Louise Hicks gonna be on tonight. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Get her to log back in, and we'll see what happens when she comes back in. So we've got Mother Louise Hicks, Pastor Louise Hicks, that's coming on tonight, and we're going to talk about love, just how is her take on it, and but while we're waiting to get Mother, you brought up something very good the other week, this past week, about growth. How you're growing in marriage. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And what was you saying?
I was saying that we don't always have an opportunity to talk about growth in marriage, because how you are at 20 is not how you're going to be in your 40s.
Gotcha.
Because you would have lived some things and would have had some experiences. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, we as couples don't really get into what our spouses have grown. Sometimes we ignore, or not just ignore. We don't really recognize the changes that's really going on. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Will that it's very important that we be very sensitive to our spouse, to recognize the changes, because you may have light red in your 20s, but by the time you turn 40, it may have turned to a different color. Or you may notice that your wife used to wear a certain type of fragrance, and as she grows older, maybe that just doesn't work for her anymore. And being able to be sensitive and recognize that, that's what's important. Because in marriage, I mean, we're together, we're joined. There got to be some form of, being sensitive and being sensitized to that spouse.
Right. And if colors change, it could be one of two things. Colorblind, and then if the fragrance change, it could be an issue with the sinuses. But anyway, we have her on the fantabulous. I had to Google this word. If you Google the word awesomeness, beautiful, kind, loving, friendly, you will see her picture if you Google that word. Mm-hmm. I love her so much. Listen, I love her so much. She knows it, because how people say, you just don't know how much I love you. That's a lie. People need to know how much you love them and how much you impacted life. When my mother passed away, Mother Hicks was so supportive, so encouraging to us, because that was a devastating thing when I lost my mother. But my mother planted seeds, and certain people she knew who would look after us once she was gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, germs, pets, dog, cat, I don't care who you are, who's looking. Here she is, Dr. Louise Hicks. Hey, Mother.
Hey, baby, how y'all doing this evening?
Good.
You know what? Nobody can say baby like Mother Hicks.
Baby, listen, it is such an honor and a blessing that you all asked me to be on today. And I'm telling you, my heart is really overwhelmed. But I want to tell you about this man, and I called him the man. The Lord had given that to me some time back. I said I married a boy that loved to play football, basketball, baseball, and ran track. We met in 1962, And my Other Baptist church, I was on my way to the movies, my sister and I, and you know, he loved to sing gospel music. And so as
Yeah.
I was walking by, he looked at me, he said, "Girl, what is your name?" And I had on my little red trousers and my little skirt with the dog on it at that time and the little change and my little blouse that came over top that skirt. So I told him, "My name is Louise." So he asked me for my phone number. I gave him my phone number, but guess what? It took 2 years for me and him to get back together. So one day, it was in March of 1964. I was in the front room with my mother, and I was telling my mother about this young man that I had met, and I was describing him to her. And I said, "Mom," I said, "he's tall, he's bow-legged." Mom, I said, "He liked to wear blue jeans and a striped shirt." I said, "Mama, I really like him." And I happened to look across the street, and there he was across the street. And I was jumping up and down. And I said, "Mama, Mama, he's looking for me. He's looking for me." So he jumped the ditch on Langley Boulevard, but it's Greenwood Drive now. And he came over, and I introduced him to my mom. And from there, we went on. And so February of 1965, we got married on Valentine's Day. And I
Wow.
saw the Lord take this young man. Now, I was not in church. I was not in church, but he was. He
Mm.
changed my whole life. And I said the Lord had planted him for me. The Lord sent him in my life just in time because I wanted to go to New York to be a model. That's
Mm.
what I wanted to do. But anyway, the Lord saved, and he was already saved. The Lord sent him into my life. We got married. He changed my whole life, I tell you. And I just thank God for him. So later on, I think I was 20. He was 22 years old when we got married. I had my first child, which was Charlene,
Mm-hmm.
and Charmaine and Charles Jr. But let me tell you, I saw how the Lord took this young man from a boy and carried him into a manhood. We
Mm.
done Bishop Williams Church, which was Copeland Chapel at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the Lord take him. I made him a man of God from a digging to a minister, from a minister to an elder, from a elder to a pastor, and from a pastor to a superintendent. But I
Mm.
had to pray and ask the Lord to fix me to be what he needed because
Mm.
I didn't want to be an embarrassment to him being in the ministry. And like I said, I wasn't saved, but I did get saved later on. The Lord did save me later on. And so the Lord, he molded me and shaped me to be what he needed, and he molded and shaped him to be what I needed. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I didn't want to be an embarrassment to him, and I wanted to help him in his
Mm.
ministry. So I prayed and asked the Lord to give me the same mindset that he had for his people and to
Mm.
always let me be there for him. And God did exactly that. I was married to this man for 58 years.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
was the love of my life. He
Yeah.
was everything that I needed. I was everything that he needed. We shared everything. But listen, it was a process. And like
Mm.
you said, we had to get to know one another. So I
Right.
knew his dislikes and his likes, and he knew my likes and my dislikes. But the Lord shaped us. He molded us to be with one another, to
Right.
love one another, to cherish one another. If didn't nobody else have his back, I had his back. If could
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
nobody else work with him, I worked with him. If could nobody else do what he needed, I was there to do just exactly that.
Right. And you
Me and
did.
my children. That's
Yeah.
right. And let me tell you, the Lord will fix you so that y'all will fit like a screwdriver. You hear me
Mm.
what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that you can be there for each other and love each other. Amen. Share things together with each other. And I miss my husband. I really, really miss him, but I can still live on because he's not here. I can still make it with the Lord's help.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That mother. That is like the. It's funny you said that he brought you into church because
Yes.
my wife, she tells people that I brought her into church, even though she grew up in the church. But she always says that I was the one that brought her back. And there was a couple of things that she had, and maybe you would answer this. There was certain things she said she did not want in a husband. She didn't want a musician. She didn't want a light-skinned guy. She didn't want a redhead, and she didn't want she didn't want no military man, and she didn't want no minister. Well, she got all four.
She got all four.
All four. So you said that pastor brought you into the church. What was that? What was the moment like that went from not being in church to understanding church? Because it was a growth process, especially being, you wanted to mirror him or be able to support him. What was that process like?
It was a process because, first of all, I had to learn everything there was to learn about the Lord first, and about being in church and being around people. And it was a process.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I was out in the floor so much. Every time I turned around, I was getting in the prayer line because I really wanted to be right. I did not want to be a hindrance to him or his ministry that the Lord had given him. And it was like the Lord was reshaping me and molding me and all of that stuff because he had a lot to take out of me. But the Lord did it. He did it. And so after the Lord did that for me, I understood, but I didn't understand at first, but I understood. And so, like I said, I wanted to be his helpmate, not his troublemaker. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I wanted to be there for him, not only there for the church, but I wanted to be there for my husband, to help my husband to walk down this road that God had given him to walk down as being a pastor of a church. And you cannot be a jealous wife in that area. You cannot. You cannot be a jealous wife.
Yeah, because I was telling Maria, I was going to let her ask you that. Being that, Charles Hicks was a good-looking man.
He was a good-looking man, and everybody was at him.
So how'd you deal with that?
I prayed and asked the Lord to help me to stay humble and not to get upset. But one thing about my husband was he let everybody know who his wife was.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't care
right
where
there.
we went.
Right there.
I don't
Right
care
there.
where we was at. I don't care what he was doing. He always honored me and always pulled me up there with him always. He talked about me every Sunday in church. I really love my wife.
I've heard him say that.
Ever happened to me. He always said that.
Yes.
Yep.
So I didn't feel threatened.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't feel threatened when he was around other people because he always made sure I was there.
I was known. Yeah.
And he always told me, "Don't go too far there. You stay right here with me." And so I tried it, and I tried my best to do that.
Yeah, and you did. And watching you two together, I mean, I can say there's so many. I believe there are many marriages that are successful today because of not only but you and Pastor, just the love you all showed at Greater Mount Zion. Oh my God! I mean, I remember being in the service and hearing him talk about his sweetie pie.
That's right. That's right. He did.
And to put everybody else to shame, and then I think some other preachers try to pull it off too, but it just ain't go. He just had a way, but and his singing, he used to tell me, is it Brown? You just singing somebody. I said, well, I don't know who you talking about. You the man, and he. Oh my God, his tone, especially when he do that.
Yes, sir. He could do that.
Oh my God! Oh God!
He started singing back in 1957, and he's been all over the world singing.
Yeah.
And listen, when we was going together, and I would go with him out to sing, he would always grab my arm, and we would always walk in together, and he would always make sure I was seated where he could see me. And when we went out together. He would always open the door for me, close the door behind me. He always made sure that I was straight.
Yeah. And until the day he left us, he was still the same way.
He was still the same way.
And Mother, what do you say to people that, those values have left a lot of us? I still open the door for my wife, What do you think? Where do we go wrong where chivalry is just no longer?
because a lot of the young men now are not being taught by the older men. See, when my husband and stuff was coming along, that's what they taught them, but it's not being taught now. The older men are not teaching the young men.
Mm-hmm. And it's
And
a
you
shame
know,
that go ahead.
the mothers in the church taught us and trained us how to take care of our husbands, how to take care of our homes, and all of that. And it's really not being taught now like it used to be. So we
Yeah.
just got to get back to the old days,
Mm-hmm.
and that the mothers started teaching the young women how to take care of their homes and how to take care of their children and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, they think it's like they're losing their independence, by being submissive. I remember going to a wedding and they said, "Do you promise to love and obey?" And the woman hesitated. She said, "Hmm, hmm."
Right, right. Yes, sir. But see, by the time I was 12 years old, Ella Brown, I already knew how to take care of house and all because my mama trained me that way.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to take care of children because I had to take care of my sisters and brothers. I knew how to cook. I knew how to clean up. I knew how to go to the grocery store and make groceries. I saw how my mother treated my father. So, some of that stuff is already in you before you get married.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you don't know, Will, Pastor Louise Hicks and her husband, her family go way back with my.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's not like I don't know her. I know her.
I was just trying to be
Okay,
selfish
no,
because
do.
she's all
you,
mine.
You've been
no,
knowing me ever since you was
you
little.
cannot be
I'll
selfish
share.
with her
I'll
because
share.
Pastor Louise Hicks. I mean, I remember those days being in my former church. They will always ask Bishop Charles Hicks to come up and sing. Oh
Right.
my God! And we love to hear him sing. And then there was a time when there was Mother Hicks and all the kids. Remember, they used to sing too.
They
Um,
did.
Yep, y'all used to sing too, and I'm telling you, we were so blessed to have known you guys and to grow up, with Charlene, with Charmaine, and Junior.
Yes. And
I
Junior.
remember, yes, and
Yes.
Mother had them kids straight, honey. Yes, she did. She had them kids straight. She did not play at all.
Just
Mother
like
did.
your mama had y'all. Just like
That's
your
right,
mother had
Mother.
y'all.
That's right. Yeah, Mother didn't play at all, and I just thank God for them. I mean, and I'm telling you, you talking about some singing folk. Her kids can sing,
They
Showing
could.
okay?
That's right.
Them kids can
them
sing.
jokers, them
Yes,
jokers.
sir.
Which says a lot about you and
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Mother because um, with the talent that, especially Charlene, with the talent that she has, she could be traveling all over the country.
And she did. Charlene been out of the country singing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She used to go every year around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I believe to Europe. I believe it was Europe that Europe, Italy. They used to go every year for Christmas. And listen, they were their dad is singing. When he had to go out and preach, those three children would be his singer, his choir.
Yes. Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
Junior would stand up
Yeah.
there with his arms folded like he couldn't sing, but he would be up there.
Oh God, I just remember
but the
those
fact that
days.
they chose to stay local, to stay with mom and dad,
They did.
when they had all these other opportunities. I think about Owen Nixon, how he's but he's there playing for his dad,
That's
you know,
right.
and the way they love on you, your granddaughter. I saw your granddaughter not too long ago at the house.
That's right.
It's a lot, but it says a lot when children have that kind of talent, but they want to stay under the unction, under the umbrella of mom and dad.
Well, I thank God for my children because when Charlene was born, our bishop, Hercel Williams, told her dad and I that she was going to play the piano, right? So when we got there in Greater Mount Zion, her dad anointed her hands one Wednesday night in Bible study. And we had an old organ. And that baby got on that organ and started playing that organ. So her dad and I brought her a keyboard. Charmaine was our drummer.
Mm-hmm. She sure was.
And
Yep.
then my son took over, was the drummer in
Mm-hmm.
our church. So they have been with us. They have helped us, and I thank God for them. And they still, Charlene and Charmaine both are still with us, and they still singing,
Blessing.
they still playing, they still praising the Lord, they still helping me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I couldn't do a whole lot of nothing without my girls.
Yep.
But
Right.
my
And in
Right.
girls are
ministry
right
too.
there with me,
Yeah.
along with my other Great Amount Zion babies too, because I don't want to leave them out either.
Right.
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 My
Right.
Great Amount Zion babies have been there with us and stuck with us through thick and thin. They've been right
Mm-hmm.
there, and I thank God for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, recently, Mother, and once when Papa left us, you became the pastor.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
us about that experience.
Oh, that was such a humbling experience. My bishop made me the pastor March the 16th of well, it's almost 3 years. And I thank God,
Wow.
that's right, almost 3 years. He made me the pastor of Greater Mount Zion Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. And it was such a humbling experience. I had my whole family there on November the 24th, my sisters, my aunts, my children, and everybody, my friends, everybody. And like I said, it was such a humbling experience. My sister Elnoria gave me a family prayer. They gave me pictures and all of that. But it's a blessing to be able to know that I am the pastor of Greater Mount Zion Tabernacle
Amen.
Church of God in Christ. And I have a blessed congregation that's along with me too.
Mhm.
Yes.
So what was the transition going from first lady to pastor?
Oh Lord, I did not know. I'm still praying and asking the Lord to help me, to lead me and guide me, because I don't want to do anything on myself. And I want to be in the Lord's will. And
Mhm.
I don't want to do anything to embarrass my husband, because I know my husband is proud of me. But you
Amen.
know what? I believe it was 2019. I believe it was. My husband had sung this song to me. I did not understand at the time when he was singing that song. But when he passed, then I understood what he was saying. He was telling me all the time that I was going to be the pastor there, but I couldn't see it at the time.
Yeah, right.
I could
Wow.
not see it. But then after he passed, and I went back and listened at that song, and he was telling me. So I'm walking in the calling that the Lord has for me.
Mhm.
Wow.
What was the song, Mom?
You are faithful
Mm.
and you are true.
Yeah.
Yes,
My
sir.
God. That's a song by and for your faithfulness is your time. Is
Yes,
that,
man.
that
It's my
oh
time. That's the
God.
name of it. It's my time. It
Lucifer
was
Barnes.
my
Yeah,
time.
Luther
Lucifer
Barnes, yeah.
Barnes.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's so amazing, Pastor Hicks, like I said, that God has taken you from point A to point B to point C, and to see how God has done, and I'm sure that a couple years ago you would never even thought that this was ever going to happen to you, and
No.
even being married. That's why it's so important that people that are getting married now, that they are connected with people of God, that God is bringing to them, because when God brings people together, he joins ministries together, and you just never know what aspect of ministry you're going to operate in. You never know the lives that you're going to change. You never know the anointing that's upon your life, and you never know that the spouse that God gives to you is from God. Not only is it from God, God's trying to show you that
It's the
how much
truth.
how much he
Amen.
loves us.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Amen.
we underestimate the reason why God even did the calling, or the coming together of couples anyway. Sometimes we get so slack, mother. I ain't gonna
That's
lie.
true.
We get so slack and not really understand the true meaning. One of the bishops that we heard one day was talking about Jesus. Was his whole ministry was nothing but reconciliation.
Right.
You know, and it's
That's
so
right.
important that we understand that even in the good times and the bad times, that it's time for us to connect. It's time for us to, to reconcile, right?
Exactly.
I'm
That's
telling you,
true.
it's such a
It is.
blessing.
So listen, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to be
Okay.
back with Pastor Louise Hicks of the Greater Mount Zion Church of God
Yes,
in
yes.
Christ,
Looking forward to hearing some
Portsmouth,
more.
Virginia, Deep Creek. We'll be right back on Beyond the Vows.
Thank you.
From the heart of the coast where the waves rise high, Bay magazine we lift and amplify. Stories of love, of strength, of pride. Giving back, standing tall side by side. We are the rhythm, we are the voice. Community rising, making bold choice. On short drive, we shine, we soar. Bay magazine, forever, evermore.
This is a beat by Bro Production.
All right, we are back with Beyond the Vows with our guest, Pastor Louise Hicks. Pastor Louise says we are just enjoying this time with you. Thank you so much for this wisdom that you're pouring into us and then to our audience. So this time we got some questions that we would love to hear.
Yeah.
You want me to, or you?
Yeah,
Gonna
we do. So I want people see, mother.
See,
You know,
just say straight off.
Pastor. You know, Pastor
Oh,
backwards and
God.
forwards. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to ask some questions that you think how he. I want the audience to know how he would answer.
Okay.
Okay. But before we do that, so here's a scenario. So if Pastor had ever done anything, made a mistake, ruined something of yours, how did you deal with it?
Prayed over it. It's no use of fussing and arguing over things.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, Pastor, because I was trying to be a great husband and wash clothes, so she don't have to do it. And so I put the clothes in the dryer, and when I took the clothes and put them in the hamper, I started pulling the clothes out because I was going to fold them and hang them up. And then I saw that.
Well,
I saw that in the, that is my wife's wig. I should wash my wife's wig.
Well,
And you can't do nothing with it. You can't even pray over it.
No,
So-
but I'm gonna say this. When my husband and I first got married, and before we had our children, he helped me clean up and do all the things that he could not cook. He could cook like eggs, bologna, and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he could clean up and stuff like that, and he helped me clean up and stuff. And then when I got sick with my son, I had to go back in the hospital, and when I came home, he could not cook, but he tried. So I did not criticize what he was trying to do because he tried.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we just have to accept what they do and don't argue at them because they are trying. And I think a lot of times that make women a lot of mistakes with women, because once you keep fussing and arguing about stuff that they try to do, then they'll stop trying to do it and they won't do it at all.
Exactly.
and you know what, Mother? I didn't even know that he had washed my wig. This is my first time hearing it right now. No, because I don't want the audience or anybody else to think that I was fussing or arguing with him, because I wasn't. This is my first time hearing it. I didn't even know that this is what he did.
I did it on the air
no,
so I could be protected.
No,
y'all can protect me in case you want to.
No, no. But guess what, Mother? He's
What,
going to have to find me another one. That's all. I'm not fussing. And, you know, and one thing, Mother, and I appreciate everything that you said. And one thing I told my husband, and you can attest to this.
Mhm.
I told him, it was a couple weeks ago. I said, I refuse to be upset. I refuse to be angry.
That's
I
right.
refuse to even be mad, because it's not worth it. And I'm not going to do that, because if I have that in my heart, when I know God has changed me.
That's right.
And I say that he has, definitely, Mother, God has definitely changed my heart. So because of that, I'm not going back to that same way of how I used to think, or how I used to do, staying upset, staying angry. I'm not going back to that kind of way, because it leads you in a path where God delivered you from. And when God delivers, he delivers.
Amen. And that's why I see it in the beginning that marriage is a process. You grow from things. And when you learn each other, you learn how to grow from things. You don't get stuck into that mode.
True.
You learn how to move on and still love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they say you could disagree but not be disagreeable.
Amen.
Okay, yeah. So I said that because I want y'all to protect me, because I showed it to my daughter, and she was like, "Oh."
Yes, sir.
Your mother, for years, we've been married almost 14 years.
I know.
And every year I would get her this basket full of lotions and creams and stuff like that.
From Roses.
And she would let me get that every year. And then finally she said, "Please don't buy me no more of that. I don't like smelling like peach cobbler and apple pie."
Mother.
You just said you should appreciate.
But listen though.
But can I say something before you finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Aren't you glad that she told you that? So now you know exactly what she likes.
Yeah.
So you'll know how to go now and get exactly what she wants. That's why I said that you have to learn each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you know her likes and you know her dislikes. So you'll do everything you can to try to please her, so she don't want no more of that. Now you'll go to Bath and Body Works and buy some of that nice stuff out of there.
Thank you, Mother. I appreciate that, because I even said at the beginning, when you're younger, maybe you like that thing, but as you get older, those things you just don't like anymore. That's why we have to be sensitive to our spouse. We have to be able to recognize the change. Because I've always bought him colognes and stuff, and then I realized that he's not using it. So guess what? I stopped buying.
Right.
Because he's
not. Start again.
You don't like those colognes. So I have to go another route. But it's okay. I'm still learning, Mother.
Yeah.
She's teaching me to lotion my feet.
My husband used to buy me Escalada because he know that's what I like.
That's your like.
Escalada, right? So that's what he would buy me, and he always brought me Wimpler sampler candy. I don't care, anniversary, Valentine, birthday. I always got a big box of Wimpler sampler candy because that's what he knew I loved.
Wow.
Isn't that the chocolate that when you buy it, you don't know what you're gonna get?
Right, but it's delicious. It is delicious.
Oh my God.
That's what Forrest Gump said.
And look, he always brought me cards. He knew how to pick the right card for the right occasion, and it had the right words that he would say. He always knew how to do that.
Did you keep the cards, Mom?
I keep my cards. Yes, I do. I go back and read my cards.
Okay. Mom, before we ask you these questions, if you were to talk to some couples, do you believe that couples should, I know we talk about premarital counseling, but also marital counseling when you're married. Is that something that you support?
Yes, sir, because everybody, we still learning every day. We never get too old that we cannot learn. And marriage counseling before marriage is good, and after you get married, it's good too. Because, like your wife said, we change with age. We don't stay the same,
Right.
and you don't have the same mindset. So yes, they need counseling even after they get married, because sometimes husband and wives, they need a break away, sometime 2 or 3 days away somewhere where they can enjoy each other, relax and talk. You work all the time, you never get a break, and sometimes your emotions can get out of whack. So you
Yeah.
need a break every now and then, if it's not but a couple of days or one day away from everything and everybody. Just the two of
Yeah.
you, where you can relearn each other, learn new things about each other. Learn your new likes, your dislikes, because you do have likes and dislikes. And we need to, and that is nothing wrong with husband and wife sitting down, talking together to find out where you at with each
Right.
other. Right,
Right.
because you need to know that.
Exactly.
And
Right.
compliment each other. Don't ever let nobody come between you. I don't care who it is. Don't never let nobody come between the two of you. Don't let nobody bring you nothing on you or each other. Talk
Right.
about y'all in front of each. Don't do it. Cut them off before they even get started,
That's right.
Wow.
That's
because you
right.
can ward it off. And listen, fasting and praying helps. Staying in your word helps. Laying before the Lord, because you got to ask God what to do and how to do, and God will show you if you ask Him.
Right.
And just like if it's something be wrong, because men don't do a lot of talking sometimes. They be going through a lot. They don't do a lot of talking. They try to hold everything in. But if you know your husband, you know when he's upset. Sometimes just a rub on the head. I used to rub my husband on the head when he looked like something was going on with him, and he would get better, because men have a big responsibilities and women do too.
Right. Right.
So you learn one another, you talk to each other, you love one another, help each other out, stay together, do whatever it takes to make y'all happy.
Right.
And listen, you can't talk to everybody, because
Come on here.
everybody's not going to give you sound advice. They
That's
not. They
and
not.
that's going beyond the vows. That's why this show
Yes,
was created. Because it's more than just I do, you do,
it is.
and what have you. There's a whole lot more to go, and I'm learning it more every. I'm about to turn 67, and it's still a process.
It's a process,
You
baby.
know, yeah. So my age doesn't make it that I've arrived. It's still a process.
You still
You know,
learning. You still
and
learning.
words of wisdom like yours come up, help us to grow. You know,
Amen. And
really
I
do.
was hoping that my husband and I was gonna make it past 60 years old, but the Lord gave us 58 good years. And I thank God for the 58 good years. I wouldn't be where I am today if it was not for Superintendent Dr. Charles Hicks.
Yeah.
Dr. Charles Hicks changed my whole life,
Mhm.
my whole life. My thoughts about a lot of things I didn't understand, he did. And if anybody had ever told me when I was 16 years old that I was going to marry a young man that was in church, or a minister or an elder or deacon or a pastor, I would have never believed that.
Right.
I couldn't have never believed that. And now for me to be the pastor of a church, I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
But the Lord has his way.
Yeah. 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 His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts.
No, sir, they not.
You know,
They are not.
and you readily answered the call. I knew there was no hesitation with you, because you felt that in your shanana that's what you were supposed to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the Lord is blessing me though, and He's keeping me every day. Like I tell people, people look at you sometimes and say, well, how you still making it? Your husband not there, because I pray every day and ask God to lead me, guide me, and to help me every single day. And He's doing just that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was my mom, Pastor, I was talking to my aunt today, and my uncle, my last remaining uncle, we just buried him a few weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
They were married 63 years.
Yes, sir.
And and I promised her kids I would call her every week, just check on her. And today she really broke down. She's been really strong. And she says, I miss your uncle so much. I miss your uncle so much. You know, he was 91 years old. We were together 63 years. And all I could do was just hear her. What are moments like that for you, Mama?
I have my days too, but I'm gonna tell you how I handle my days when I get like that. I get up and get out of the house and go do something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stay in here and mode. I get up and go down to church, and because that's his spirit is there, and I sit down there and reminisce about what the Lord had blessed him to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, our church caught a fire in 1995.
95, yeah.
Right, May 15, 1995.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how we was going to be able to be up at the church. But 1997, the Lord blessed us October the 4th, 1997, to walk in those doors. So I just go down there and sit and reminisce what the Lord did and how God brought me and him through and how the Lord is keeping me. And that's what helped me to go through my days when I be like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Mama. Well, it's question and answer time. So we are going, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hear from, and also they named the district after Pastor too, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Wow.
A. Hicks Memorial Fellowship. That was an honor. That blew my mind. That really blew my mind. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it makes me feel so good to know that they honor him. And guess what? May the 16th from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, the Truck Specifically is honoring him. May the 16th from 3 to 6. That's right. They are honoring Superintendent Dr. Charles Hicks, May the 16th from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock over there in the field across from Mount Carmel Baptist Church.
Wow.
Know exactly where that is.
And
Yeah,
they've been doing it every year since we've been there at Greater Mount Zion.
Wow. Wow,
Yes,
that is
sir.
such a great honor. And I know they just named the district after my grandfather.
They did. Yes,
It was just fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear from the Reverend Dr. Charles Hicks and what he would say. So this is our segment called What Would Dr. Hicks Say? Go ahead, Marina. big one.
Well, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So, Mother, what would Pop say if we asked him this question? What do you remember thinking the first time you saw Louise Hicks?
He said, "Wow, I'm gonna marry that girl."
Okay. Mother, I got another question for you. When was the first time he knew that he was in love with you?
He told me the first time he saw me.
Wow.
And we didn't have a long courtship. Okay, I said it was 2 years. That when he came was 62, and he came to my house 64. We got married in February of 65. February the 14th, 1965. So we did not have a long courtship. And the thing about it was so funny. My daddy did not really like my husband at first. And so,
oh my goodness.
When we went down there to get our marriage license, my daddy took off from work to go down there with me, my mother and I, because you know you had to have a parent with you back during that time in order to get your marriage license. The lady did. So my daddy took off from work to go down there with us to get our marriage license. And guess who had to be the one to sign? My mother.
Your mother.
Not my dad. And my dad was highly upset about that.
Oh my.
After we was married a couple of years, my father ended up falling in love with my husband and took him on as one of his sons.
Oh.
Wow.
That's sweet.
Wow.
That's so sweet.
All right. Papa Hicks, what 3 qualities first attracted you to Louise Hicks?
Oh no, he said my bow legs first. Then he said my personality, and he said the way that I treated my family.
Oh
Wow. You got me, John?
Let's see. Okay. If you could describe your love story in the movie, what movie would it be?
What movie would it be? I don't know that many movies. Never Forgotten.
Never forgotten.
Never
Okay.
forgotten.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, oh, here's a real funny one that I saw, mother. If I can find it. Um. Oh, so Dr. Hicks, what three things would you want if you were stranded on an island with Louise Hicks?
To be by ourselves.
No animals, no
No nothing. No nothing.
Oh.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
he always made me feel special in a way. I don't care where we was at. It was all
Mhm.
he always made me feel special.
Wow.
That is a good thing to do.
That's
Oh my God. Mm-mm. Okay, so another question for you. What was one of your favorite gifts that Bishop Charles Hicks gave you?
He gave me a coat one time with fur on it,
All right
but
now.
I didn't. A coat with fur on it.
That's one of your
and
favorites.
that's your answer. That's what you sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it.
So, mother, I want to go back. So you said he asked you for your number. Now, back in the '60s, they didn't have cell phones,
No,
right?
but you know what we did? It was the telephone booth down there on Cavalier Boulevard and
Mhm.
Greenwood Drive. So that was the phone number that I gave him, and that was the number that he called me at.
What?
But
Wait a
minute.
Wait a minute. Okay, y'all didn't have a house phone,
No, man, we didn't get a house phone till later on.
so you had to go to the phone booth,
Yes, ma'am.
and you had to be there a certain time in order to get the call.
That's right.
Well, how did he call you if he have a phone at home?
Well, I guess he used the phone booth too, where he was at. He stayed in Pewsville, and he walked from Pewsville to my house to come
Wow.
see me.
But you know what? Remember way back in the day, because I grew up here too. Pewsville was a long distance. Remember?
A long distance. But listen,
Mhm.
he walked. He walked from Pewsville to come to 3806 Greenwood Drive.
That's a long way.
It's a long way, but he did it.
My God, I wonder what shortcut he took. Cause
I don't-
God knows that's a long. Pewsville's a long way.
It's a long, long way.
Yeah, because that's like Western Branch, and then
That's
come
right.
to Portsmouth, right?
That's right.
Wow, that's a long way.
That's a long way.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mother,
But
if you could change, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was getting ready to say that's what love would do.
Yes, it will.
I'm thinking so. Everybody in your area had the same phone number, so you know who it was called.
But look, it worked. And
Mhm.
I didn't say this part, and we wrote letters, and I used to put they had here's my heart perfume, and I would spray it all over that envelope and put my footprint on it and mail it.
Was it Esther?
wow.
Was it Esther Lauder?
No, it was here's my heart from Avon.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Well, listen. So, mother, this is a question to you. If you know what's going on in the world today, and so many people are, I guess they're afraid of what's happening in the government, and they're putting. They've gotten to the point where they stop trusting God. How do we bring people back? Realistically, how do we bring people back to understand that, the government is upon his shoulders, and no matter who's in the White House, the Green House, or the Orange House, that God has last say. If you were giving your message, mother, what would that be to the people?
Faith walk through,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to teach them and train them. See, a lot of times, the people don't stay long enough to be taught. They get a little bit, and then they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't stay long enough to get the foundation
Right.
of it. And now we have Christians running from one church to another. They get a little bit, then they think they're ready to get out there and start the preaching and teaching, and they don't stay long enough for to be taught and trained. You know, when we first came up, what we were taught and trained.
Mm-hmm.
Our pastors, they taught us, they trained us. We won't run in here and there and all of that. They made sure that we was equipped. But see, nobody wants to stay put now.
Wow.
And we got to see, and we still got to tell them whether they get it or not. We still got to teach it to them. We still got to pray for them. We still got to fast for them. We can't give up on them. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep at it.
Yeah, we have to. And, you know, when you talk about the old school, preachers, pastors have gotten away from telling the truth. And I'm not talking about being truthful. I'm talking about telling the people the truth about what it is you're doing. We love you, but what you're doing, the sins you're committing, this, that, and the other. And they've got my bishop back in Connecticut used to say, got real jelly back, you know, because they're afraid of making people upset, or they gonna leave the church. Well, if they leave the church, they goes our tithes and all that kind of stuff.
Right, but we got to tell them the truth whether they want to hear it or not.
Right, exactly.
Because God is holding you accountable.
He is. God will hold us accountable if we don't tell the truth.
Exactly. And so, Pastor Hicks, so what would you tell a young couple in ministry? What would you tell them to do to maintain this path that God has designed for them, whether it's in ministry or whether it's them staying rooted in each other, in the love that God has given them?
First of all, I would tell them that they have to learn how to pray together, fast together, stay in their word, and compliment each other. And hang in there. You can't run when things started getting tough.
True.
I know when we first went into ministry, my husband and I, we did a lot of praying. We did a lot of fasting. We stayed in our word. We had people coming here to our house to pray and all of that, anointing ourselves, asking the Lord to keep us, to show us which way to go, how to do things, knowing how to love on the people in spite of what they do, because that's what we got to do. You can't be judgmental, to people. You got to love them because Jesus loved us out of our sins and stuff. And, you can't brag with people. You know what I'm saying? You got to love them where they at. And the more that you love on them, they will come under suggestion, and teach them the word of the Lord. Don't get out of the word. Teach them how to fast. Teach them how to pray and lay before the Lord. Keep your doors open at church. Have an open door policy so that they can come in and talk to you, and then you try to do the best that you can to try to lead them and direct them in the right way that they should go.
Yeah, and that's how you and Pastor have always been very reachable, very accessible. Because a lot of times, so the way churches are designed now, you got a lot of folk who you can't even get to the pastor. And I heard a young man went to a revival where his pastor was preaching, and at his friend's church, and he was like, so introduce me to your pastor. He says, well, I ain't never met him myself. That's something. But you all have always been accessible to the people, and that has blessed so many people. All right. So real quick before we wrap this up, what was a perfect date night for you and Pastor?
Well, look, back during that time, you couldn't go out too much. But my dad would let me go out Sundays with him to sing. And we had a curfew. I could go, but I had a certain time that I had to be back home.
What was your curfew?
10 o'clock.
Woo! That was pretty deep back then.
Yes. Yes. And believe me, I did everything I could. We did everything we could to be back in there at 10. Because if not, my dad was not gonna let me go out no more.
Wow. And those days have just gone. These kids are just doing anything they want to do, and parents are letting them do it.
Right, right.
The
children don't have structure now like they did when we was coming up.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Mother, Pastor, tell us where the church is and what time your services are.
Okay, my church is in our Truxton area at 3100 D Creek Boulevard, Portsmouth, Virginia 23704. We have Wednesday night Bible study. We have Sunday school at 9 o'clock Sunday morning. Our Sunday morning worship service starts at 11 o'clock. We do have evening service sometimes on Sundays. And we have prayer and Bible band every Tuesday from 9 to 10 on conference call. And our conference call number is 1978-990-5411. Our SS code is 2222211.
Okay.
And it's every Tuesday 9 until 10 a.m.
Awesome. And we're going to be with you on May the 10th.
Yes, sir.
With
At
a
1:30.
wellness opportunity to show something about our super patches. Mother,
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you so much. I know you're a pastor, but you've always been mama to me.
Well, that's all right.
I appreciate you so much. And listen, y'all, you got to go on Mother's Facebook page. You know, I love it when Pat was around. You used to go to the church and get on Facebook Live and just pray,
Yes,
read
sir.
scripture. It was
Yes, sir.
you would sing.
Yes, sir.
You know, it would just be you in the church.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that has blessed so many people, and I know it has blessed us. So maybe you got anything else in closing?
We're just so grateful and thankful so much for your wisdom. You're talking about Bishop Charles Hicks, and man, I remember those days, and it's just been such a blessing to have you guys a part of our lives. Didn't know I was going to be married to him. Didn't know that we was going to have that kind of connection, you know, but it's been such a blessing. We're just so grateful and thankful. And I know if my parents was here today, man, they love Pastor Charles Hicks.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. And
yes.
you too,
Thank
Pastor
you, baby.
Lee.
Thank you.
And so it's such a blessing. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for your love, and you've been an example to us at a very young age, and we're just so grateful to God that you're still standing in the gap.
Still an example.
You still, yes,
Still
you are
example.
still holding up the bloodstained banner, and we're
Yeah.
so proud of you. God
Thank
knows
y'all.
you, and we love
Yeah.
you so much.
I love y'all too, and thank you so much, so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So that is another great opportunity here at Beyond the Vows, and we're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. here at the SKST Radio, and you can go to skstradio.com for all the shows that are here on the SKS podcast studios. You can email us again, beyondthevows.skst.tv@gmail.com.
And don't forget to, if you want a podcast, if you're interested in that, please call our sister Cammie at 757-391-4352. Again, 757-391-4352. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to addressing the questions and even some suggestion for people coming on. So we can't wait to hear from you.
Especially question time. All right. We love you. We'll see you next week.
God bless you.
Good night, Mother.
Bye.
Good night, baby. Love y'all.
All right.